Hello everybody, I hope you are doing wonderful and amazing. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I think Chewbacca already introduced the YouTube channel, but my name is Crys'Dawna, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be painting this piece behind me. I know that some people are going to say, oh my goodness, you're painting that piece. I have like 4 pieces like this. I currently live in Germany and pieces like this are very common here. I'm painting this for myself so that I have storage in my paint room. I am going to be moving back to the US in February, and I want to be able to have something pretty in my paint room that I love. People ask me all the time where I get inspiration from, and to be quite honest, it's going to sound really silly, but I look up pictures of old doors on Pinterest. I look up cake decorating videos because no one's worried about how colorful their cake is, right? No one is worried about having a cake that is neutral or if it's gonna sell. When you do cakes, they're wild. And I also really love weathered finishes. And so that is why I always look up old doors. Sometimes I get inspiration from outfits on the internet. One time I was walking my daughter to school and I saw a little backpack that I really liked. So, and I also just look around in nature and just get inspiration from there. But this picture, I don't know how to do this, okay? So I just wanna preface that with, I think a lot of these videos that I'm going to be doing with you guys, it's gonna be the first time that I've done it. I do have experience with doing some things in this finish that I wanna achieve, but not everything. And so this could go really good, could go bad. We're gonna learn together. And so I found this door. Hope you guys can see that. And I really, really like it. So if you guys don't know, I have a brand new paint line with Daydream Apothecary, and 2 of these colors in here really remind me of colors from my new line. So there's a color called Living Light, which is a very pretty chartreuse, which is, I'm going to assume it's going to be like this color right here. And then this one right here looks like Cosmic Conquest to me. So I'm gonna have some white. There is some brown, which will be the wood showing. So we need some white, and we're going to need a yellow. So I'm gonna try to pull out some yellow. Just gonna use your just kind of whatever chalk paint I want yellow, and I might mix a little bit of brown to get a mustard yellow color. So I don't know, I just keep looking at it, but I'm super excited and I think this is gonna look really awesome. So stay here if you guys want to experiment with me. Once I cleaned my piece really well, I started in with Autentico Sea Salt Fizz and their color Regency White. I'm using their vintage line, which is a chalk paint. And so what you do is you take the paint and then you mix in the sea salt fizz. So you can use any kind of porous paint, so any kind of chalk or clay-based paint this should work with. And so I'm going to mix it in there. You don't want to put too much, but what's going to happen is it's going to start creating craters, and you're going to see this here in a second, how it's kind of bubbling. And so it's going to add texture, and it's going to keep bubbling when it's on your piece to just add craters and add that void and a little bit more texture. So I'm going to add this on my piece in random areas. Remember, my inspiration was a door, so I'm going to try to follow that a little bit. And then the next thing I'm going to use is a wax bar. So this is just a regular distressing wax bar. You could probably use golf wax or, surfboard wax. You could probably even use a wax candle. And so this is going to add a resist on my piece. So that way when I go to paint it and do anything else, it's just going to add another layer of distress on here. The next thing I'm going to do is add a layer of texture. So I'm going to use Country Chic's color in Fresh Mustard, and I'm going to mix my own mix of kosher salt, salt wash, and baking soda, and I put it in a coffee jar. So I made my own. I'm going to pour some of that paint in a paper bowl, and then I'm going to mix it to the consistency of brownie batter, and then I'm going to add this texture on the piece all around the white areas. Once all the paint is dry, I laid it on its back and I'm going to sprinkle some of that texture mix onto this piece, and then I'm going to spray it with water so that way it sticks to my piece, and this is just going to be another layer of texture on here. The next three colors I'm going to use is the mustard yellow, we're going to use Cosmic Conquest, and we're going to use Living Light. So Cosmic Conquest and Living Light are the new colors in my line from Daydream Apothecary. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to put yellow over top of all the other yellow, and this is dried now. So this texture and everything is dried, so I put it upright again, and I'm going to go over all the areas with yellow again with the yellow. So what I did is I put these in separate paper bowls because you will get some cross contamination with that texture. Some of it's going to come off and crumble off, and you don't want to be dipping your brush with that texture into your jar of paint. So make sure that you are pouring it out so that way you don't destroy your paint that's in the can. But I am going to go over all the yellow with the same color, and then I'm going to add the Cosmic Conquest and Living Light in different areas to where I visualized it inspiring me with the door. So this is Cosmic Conquest, and I'm just going to lay that down, and then I'm going to take the yellow brush and I'm going to just kind of feather it, and it's going to create a green color, but what I'm doing is kind of blending the yellow and the Cosmic Conquest together, and then I'm going to put that Living Light right next to the Cosmic Conquest, and I'm just going to spritz and use those brushes to just blend these colors into each other. Once everything was dried to the touch, I took a plastic scraper, and what you're going to do is put the scraper flat against the surface, so that way all you're doing is scraping off the excess texture that is sticking up, and you're not actually digging into the finish. And you're going to gently scrape the texture back, and it's going to reveal the colors underneath. One thing I wanted to test with this was taking a rubber brush or spatula or spreader, whatever you want to call it. So I waited for this to be dry to the touch, but it's still going to have a little bit of moisture inside all that texture, and I wanted to push this down. So what I did is I took the scraper and I took that rubber paintbrush and I rubbed over top of it so that I could smooth it down even more, and I felt like it just added another layer of texture and dimension to it. After I scraped everything down, I waited and let this sit overnight so that way everything could fully dry. And then I took a sanding sponge, which is probably about a 120 grit, and I sanded down the entire piece. I just wanted to do some experimenting, so I took this Distress Spray Stain by Ranger, and I'm using that to create a faux kind of like a rust coming off of the hardware and the handles. You could do this with cocoa powder, you could do this with paint, you could do this with pigment powder. I just wanted to try this and see, and it worked pretty well. I'm going to use hard wax oil to seal this piece because the Daydream Apothecary does need to be sealed, so I'm just going to seal this entire piece with hard wax oil because it's easy and I just really like how it richens this piece of furniture and the colors. I also want to add some aging to this, so I'm going to use a darker wax and go in the cracks and crevices and put the dark wax on here and then wipe it back and blot it back to keep that dark wax in those crevices. All right, everybody, this piece is done. This video is done. I hope you guys can see this. I'm trying not to block it. I'm going to keep this in my house. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it even more today than I did yesterday. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you are going to try this, I would love for you to tell me. So let me know what you guys think. And everything I use will be in the description below so that you guys can go and get your supplies, or you can recreate this and use whatever colors you want to use. So until next time, happy creating and have an awesome weekend. I'll see you guys later. All right, bye.
Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get